Finance Committee meeting for Tuesday, July 22nd. For Tuesday, July 22nd, sorry, cramp there, at 6 p.m. Let the record show that all aldermen are here with the exception of Alderman Forney, and Ward 2 is vacant. Approval of the minutes from the previous committee meeting, Tuesday, July 8th. I'll make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Robinson. Wow, I am on vacation, so. Okay, the first thing we have up is a presentation from ClearGov regarding budgeting software. Mayor?
Len set this up, so.
Hello everybody, good evening. I've done some research. I've contacted 3 companies, ClearGov, I contacted OpenGov, and also iWork. ClearGov is I think is the best one that fit us at this moment. So we have Tori on Zoom. She will go in details to give us what that could do for the city. As far as our budgeting software, versus using the Excel spreadsheet, she'll go into the pros and cons against one or the other. Tori, if you're ready, just take it over.
All right, well, thank you for having me. I'll try to make this as painless as possible because I know you have other things on the agenda tonight. So just a little background that I'm sure you're already aware of, but Len has been in conversation. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Len and I have been in conversation about the current process, and it just is mainly in Excel sheets. And the problem with that we hear across New York and across the nation is just how scattered and disjointed it is. And ultimately that there's 2 big errors with that process is that it can be inaccurate, and it sounds like there's been a couple accuracy issues in the past that have been costly to the community to just, revisit and recorrect. And then the other piece is just employee time, that it takes a lot of time to create a budget this way when it's done in Excel sheets. And so Len and I have been talking, and it sounds like you guys are already on board with kind of modernizing that process and finding more efficiencies and to create the budget. So we're going to look at a couple tools, our operational budgeting tool as well as the digital budget book. So the operational budgeting tool will be used to collect the requests from department heads. It will be used for Lens to actually review and create a proposal for you all. And then it can also be used by each of you as individuals to actually see into the budget process, to make comments on different line items and concerns, to make sure that you have all the information you need when making budget approvals. And then that will automatically flow into the digital budget book, which will ultimately be used for presentation, both internally as you guys review the budget and also for the public. So, any questions before I hop into the tools?
No.
Okay, sounds good. So when going to create the budget, how it will work is ClearGov will actually have already onboarded the data from the accounting system. We work in an import-export model, so we'll onboard historical budgeted versus actuals so that Lens, as he creates the budget, but also department heads have access to that information, and you would as well. And then you can update your year-to-date actuals throughout the budget season too, to see where you currently stand. So I'm going to start with actually collecting requests. So currently it sounds like this process is in Excel, that they're submitting these in Excel sheets, and then Len spends time consolidating that all into the correct spreadsheets. And so in our system, you can actually just splice and dice the information. So you can say, hey, this department needs to be sent to the police chief. You can be even more granular than that and say, we just want to send the operating expenses. We don't want to include maybe personnel adjustments or that sort of thing. So you can customize it and match it to the process that you currently use. Additionally, he'll have actually control over what permissions he gives the department heads. So this helps prevent errors of them editing parts of the spreadsheet they're not supposed to edit. They can't also break formulas, and so they can just go in and make their requests without having those risk of error. There's also automation within the tool, so he's able to automate reminders and actually set deadlines in the system, so it'll let them know when the tool, when budget collection starts, it'll update them that they have to get their budget in, and it'll let them know when it's closing. For the department heads, it'll be pretty simple. They'll only have access to their line items. They are able to see the historical budgeted versus actuals, not only in columns, but they're also able to visualize that data. So if they ever have been over budget, they'll be able to see that. If they've been under budget on a different line item, they'll be able to see that as well, and help just make quicker but more accurate budget decisions. This piece will be quick. They can make adjustments by value, by percentage. Again, there's no formulas to mess up here. And the other piece is they can consolidate all the information you need for the budget review process in one area. So there's no longer need to communicate through emails, through Slack channels, through other means of communication, because they can actually attach all the information to the specific line items in the system. So for example, if they have notes on an increase, they can include those there. If they have attachments, receipts, or quotes that they've received, they can include those as well. And then there's even a comment thread so you can communicate through the chain. The comments are actually available to you all as well. So you'll have read-only access throughout the budget process. So you can see the requests that come in, you can see the edits that Lens is making, and you can also comment if you need more information about a request. You can submit that there, and it'll all be tracked within the line items. At this point, they'll submit the budget to Lens. He doesn't have to worry about consolidating that information manually. It'll do that automatically. I'll move back into kind of the review process, but just from a department viewpoint, I guess I'm curious what you all think the impact would be for your department heads to kind of have a more automated system to use.
Well, I think that we've been looking for consistency across departments, one budget and kind of a flow that worked. I think that this provides also the council with some additional tools that will streamline the budget process, because a lot of time is like, can you clarify this, or where did this come from, and that, and we could actually do that ahead of meetings so that we would have the information as we were going through each meeting. And I also think that it'll save a tremendous amount of time on all the department heads and on Lenses and the mayors ultimately.
Yeah. So that was a great recap of how it can really save time, and also, like you said, improve the consistency of numbers, accuracy of those numbers, and then throughout the budget review process, once those numbers are submitted to Lens, it locks them out. So they can't keep making edits, they can't keep making changes while it's in the budget review unless you give them permission and reopen it to them. And so there's controls throughout the process versus what we've heard in Excel sheets is there could be multiple versions of Excel sheets. You don't know where the accurate numbers are versus what was edited previously versus what you're currently working on. And so in the system, it's all consolidated and tracked. So you'll go through, you can be able to review, deny, make further edits yourself. And like you said, you can make comments ahead of review. You can say, hey, we're going to need more justification around this before our meeting even begins, so that you're not waiting on information to come in. You can also track the different versions. So again, you can see the differences between what was initially requested. So each place will have its own column. So you can see what was initially requested. Where did the budget start? To the proposed that, we're thinking first draft, second draft. Each of those will have a column. You'll be able to see where it started. You'll see the differences between those, but it'll be tracked in an organized fashion in one tool. And then the last piece is that there's also audit trails and other tools within the system to track changes, who made changes, when were they made. So if you have to track down additional details, that's also recorded within the system. Any questions on this piece before I move into the budget display side?
No.
Okay. So this is actually the Village of Terrytown's live budget book, but all the data that's collected on that back end will actually automatically sync into a budget display. And so Lens will do some setup on the background, but there will be templates that he uses, and he can just automatically pull in the different data that was just collected. So it'll pull in the historical budgeted versus actuals. It'll include the current year that you've budgeted for. And this tool can also be updated throughout the budget season. So if you want to update your year-to-date actuals, you can actually compare where are you at year-to-date with what you've budgeted for. Along with the visuals, it'll automatically pull in the line items. So it's not, Lens having to manually write any of this out. It'll pull in those line items and the detail as well. The only part that's not automatically pulled in is if you do want to add any narrative around the graphs and charts, any explanation saying, hey, the major increase was due to this reason, you can write in little narrative pieces as well. But this is interactive. The public can actually come in and engage with this information, taking things out, playing around with it. You have customization over how you want them to view this data. Again, dollar amount versus percentage. You can include things like changes between the budgets. You can include as much historical information as you want into the tool. And you can splice and dice this information in multiple ways. So for example, by department, it'll also give you graphs and charts. You can add in narrative, include photos, images, highlights, goals, that sort of thing. You can add in that extra detail if it's beneficial for you and the community. I know that probably didn't take as long as you were expecting, but those are kind of the two main pieces that we've been exploring for Olean. Any questions on the budget display side?
No.
Okay. That's mainly what I had to show you today. Is there anything else that you want me to go over as far as, how ClearGov works or any of our history or anything else that you need from me during this time?
So I actually have a couple of things, but I guess if you could just go over the costs that you've kind of broken down for us, that would be helpful.
Yeah, of course. Let me pull it up here. All right, so the total investment for Olean would be, I'm sorry that this is probably hard for you to see on the screen, but it's $21,240. This annual subscription includes everything. So it includes unlimited users. All of you can be added, all of your departments, any editors, anyone you add in the future, that's no additional cost. It also includes unlimited support. So you are not limited to a number of hours from our team. You can get support whenever you need. They will do one-on-one, they'll do Zoom calls with you. They also have online training tools as well for you as counselors. They have training for Lens as an editor, and they have training for your department heads. So that's all inclusive in there. You'll always have access to that. and they will do group trainings as well. So like, for example, if you want to get your department heads together, we'll do Zoom trainings and help them walk through the tool as well. So that's an all-inclusive. There's not any other fees that will pop up through the year that includes, that ClearGov hasn't included in that cost. So that's all-inclusive. The only reason that would, go up at all is if you added tools down the road.
So I just want to make sure I understand. So there would be the setup of services fee, which looks like it's a one-time of $9,720, and then the subscription service annually.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So
And
how,
this-
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, actually, you can go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm on to something different, so go ahead.
Oh, yeah, and for setup, just so you know, that is, ClearGov does do the setup for you, so we actually do the data mapping from your accounting system into ClearGov, so that's not a responsibility. There's a couple of reports that Lens will have to pull and send over, but it is ClearGov who would do that, which is what that one-time setup is.
So my next question is, you were talking about modules. How does this integrate into, or does it integrate into kind of day-to-day data entry on the auditor's part?
Yeah, good question. So this doesn't directly integrate with your accounting system. It is an import-export model. So the way that it works is, again, it's a bulk import. So it's 2 clicks, an export out of the accounting system and then an import into ClearGov. Again, initially, ClearGov will help with your data mapping, getting your historical data into the system, getting you set up. But then moving forward, you actually have 2 options to keep the information up to date with your year-to-date actual. You could do a self-import, and we'll train you how to do that, or you can just do it yourself. Or you can continue to send it to ClearGov, and we'll actually continue to do it for you. So it's whatever's easier for you.
And do you offer a module that, of accounting software that does integrate with the budgeting software?
Do we offer a module that would integrate with the accounting system?
Mm-hmm. Meaning by that, I mean, is this the only service you offer, or do you offer a service? Because I think that from our auditing standpoint annually, from our external auditors, that there's been some issues with kind of like some of our entries and stuff. And so what I'm looking to see is there a module, or do you have a module that works in that day-to-day kind of auditing?
I see. So if I'm understanding correctly, the day-to-day entries that you do in your accounting system would be separate from ClearGov. ClearGov is exclusively a budgeting tool. We do offer other modules for budgeting, for example, helping create your capital plan or doing personnel adjustments, but we do not offer any modules that are accounting system based. Yeah, your accounting system covers that. If you choose to change your accounting system at any point, ClearGov will also complement that system, and we would help remap it based on those account codes. But we don't operate as an accounting system at all. Is that what you were asking?
Yes. Alderman Benyon.
So the rate increase for the first 3 years is 3% and then 6% after that, correct?
Correct.
That's the difference between the initial and the regular. And then it talks about like leaving, if you choose to leave with 60 days notice. What happens to the data that's in your system? Is there a cost to leave to get that data back or anything like that?
No, yeah. So yeah, if you choose not to renew your contract, we can pull reports from our system to give you the historical data and any planning that you've done in ClearGov. It'll export as Excel files or CSV, depending on what best imports with your accounting system. There's no additional cost, if you choose not to renew with ClearGov.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. No, I think we're good. Thank you very much for concise and gave us exactly what we needed in terms of the information. So thank you for jumping on and providing us with the information.
Yeah, of course. And Len has my email if you need any resources or further information that comes up later. Feel free to reach out.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
having
much.
me. Bye.
Any?
I just have a follow-up for Len's. As far as the options out there, so I guess I'm glad, I think Sonia asked the question. There's no software out there that is a more modern and improved mechanism than Encode that also has a budgeting module to it, something that obviously can help you and do the journal entries and the different account setups, etc. That might be able to. I've never heard anything really great about Encode as far as the user friendliness of it and so on and so forth. The years I've been here, and I just wondered if there was a program out there that also had something similar to this. Why pay for two separate programs? I don't know. Is that kind of where we're going, Simon?
Yes. As we're looking to say, let's kind of take us out of the Stone Age, so to speak, with our software and budgeting and Excel spreadsheets is, I think that we would benefit from an all-in-one package, because when we've had our external auditors, there's been things in terms of data entry with our journal entries and stuff, and is there a way to have one system that streamlines all of that and then feeds right into the budget? So that's what I was looking for when I was asking her.
I'll check with Jerry on that because he does all the Encodes, all the software. I can meet with him tomorrow and see what he has in mind.
Yeah, I mean, just
some more research.
yeah.
I can sort of answer that a little bit.
What's
Okay.
that?
The cost of moving that data and getting new software is going to be $6 figures.
6.
Based on what?
Based on what we paid last time.
Okay.
For Encode?
Just for Encode. Just for something similar to Encode. It's going to be more than $6 figures.
So,
And then there's going to be probably 4 to 5 months of time to move all that data, convert it, do all the programming of it. It's a process. It's a long process.
yeah, so having converted an agency before with that, I think that we still need to look forward and look at and see what we might need. And my thought would be, to really see what, through NICOM, other cities our size and that are utilizing, and see if there is, if any of them are using kind of a comprehensive plan versus, I feel like we'll have a much better product in this, but we'll still be kind of piecemeal with things. So if we had one that integrated, and I think that NICOM would be a great place to say, what software are you guys using and how does it integrate?
This might be a question that is a stupid question, but does Encode have something similar to this that would connect with?
As far as I know.
With Jerry, they don't have anything.
They don't have something, a budgeting tool that would speak to our existing accounting software.
I can find out again, but the last time we checked, there wasn't one.
Okay.
We checked last year, I think.
Okay.
And I guess tagging on the budgeting software, because that does policy and procedure and stuff are tied into budgeting software, and that is Lens, maybe at our next meeting, if you could just kind of give us an update kind of where you are, not right now, on policies and procedures and kind of that, but not right now, okay? Yes.
What's the cost annually on that Encode?
I think it's around $30,000 a year.
So I imagine even if they did offer a module similar to this, it's probably going to be a comparable cost.
Mhm.
It's not going to be free. So either way, you're going to be looking at spending some sort of money.
Any other thoughts? I think if we can, look and see, and we could put this on maybe to go back to talk about budgeting software maybe in a month, give time to kind of see what some of the other, cities are using and stuff. Would that work there in Lens?
Are you putting together other presentations by the other companies you
So
mentioned?
that was the only one that I had, because the other one was too expensive, so I
You
didn't.
you said I didn't have that.
No, they don't have that right now, but they're working on it. They said down the line, it may have it developed. But I'll check with Hancock tomorrow and see if they have something, maybe, because we checked last year. Maybe they have something right now, I'm not sure. But
And if not, maybe they have something they're familiar with, they've worked with, or
Yeah,
pointed clients to.
good point.
And you brought up a good point too, can we check with, somebody check with Nikon to see how other municipalities, like Sonny mentioned, are doing it? There might be something out there that Nikon uses, other,
I think that's what Sonny asked for.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
said, I was agreeing with Sonny.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's on board.
Please let me make sure you did.
Nobody
Okay.
answered yet, I think.
Okay, under unfinished business, we have Marcus Park funding. Do we have any, Mayor?
Yeah, yeah. Carrie couldn't be here tonight, but she did provide you guys with the Form E. She sent it out Friday to you on it, and on the agenda tonight is the approval of the electrical bid, and that's included in here on Form E under, let's see. Trying to follow along here. Well, I'm gonna go to these.
It's almost the very bottom.
Where's it at?
James?
Send a contingency,
Okay.
Cal Crew Electric.
Oh, $219,645. And why it's in the contingency is that contingency for this project was $258,589. And we can take the money out of contingency and that'll still remain with the $38,994 in contingency. But there's also, from what you told me, there's also contingency in the Gardenville LLC site work. So there's money built into that. So in addition to that, we also received a Cattaraugus Regional Community Foundation grant that was put in for of $23,803. You see that up under the funding sources here. I've been in contact with our county legislators, and there's been no decision made yet. I'm still encouraging them to get the money or try to get the money for this project. Kelly Andriano is going to get back to me on it. So the project is ready to go. The electric came in at a good bid, and we have the funding all in place. I believe this is part of the bond. Is that right, Lance?
Yes, that bench should be in the bank by Thursday, the 24th.
So we're ready to go with the project.
Any comments, questions? Thank you. Excellent. We can't wait for it to be up and
Okay.
running.
All time.
I know. I think that this is one of the things when we look at draws to the city, I think that this is one of the things that will bring people into the city and to use the park, which is wonderful. Okay, under capital funds, we are going to defer that till September when we have our regular meetings. And thank you, Len. I know that you've sent some stuff out for us, and we appreciate that, but in the interest of time, and we'll have that information that we can digest and review it in September. Everybody okay with that one?
Good with that.
Okay. New referrals for consideration, we have none. Under committee reports, we have none. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Robinson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Call to order the City Operations Committee meeting for July 22nd of 2025. Let the record show that all members are present. I'll make a motion for the approval of the minutes on July 8th. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Anastasia. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Under unfinished business, the QR code parking. The mayor sent out some stuff last Friday as requested. Thank you. Couple of questions on that we had is, the budget projection was, excuse me, $104,000, but with what you had sent out, I think it said 147 roughly, which included permit fees for the lots. But for this cost analysis, it would seem that 47, if I'm going from memory right, is that what it says, 147? That should not be included in there, as that's money that's already accounted for in revenue streams. So, given the numbers, you had 104, and then the projection of 26 on that, it showed, what did you have, 83 or something, Gabe? 83,000. And then, Lens, what is the fringe on a part-time employee?
Yeah, John.
Okay, I thought there was something with the FICA and that.
Well, yeah, you're gonna pay the taxes, yeah.
The only thing we'll pay is workers' comp, which is workers' comp.
Okay,
I think we'll pay one flat fee for everybody in the city.
okay,
I mean, the only fringe benefit there would be if they are full-time. If we have any full-time, we'll have to pay FICA and everything else, insurance for those full-time employees, but part-time we don't.
okay. And how many hours, Bill, are you expecting that person to work at that cost? What's the,
The part-time park enforcement officer, 25 hours a week at $20 an hour, so. And that comes out of the police budget.
and that's the current part-time position
That is, yeah,
that's been budgeted for currently, correct?
correct.
So it's not in addition to? Okay. Questions on the cost of the program?
Do we have a plan, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
John, what's your question?
Do we have a plan when this is gonna roll out?
Well, we've been working on getting it rolling out, but since the council had some questions and stuff, we halted that for now until the decision is made.
Tanya?
So I actually have a few things. One is, I think that 60% occupancy for 8 hours is not realistic, because I went out 2 days in a row. Monday I went out 2 times. I went out at 12:30 and then I think maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock in that ballpark. And then I went out today, 10:30 and then 2. And when I went out, there's about 70 spaces to kind of round it off. Like today at 10:30, there were 72 open spots. At 2:30, there were 73 open spots, which is really about only a 40% utilization. So I was one who was definitely in support of this program initially, because I was looking to see, how do we bring how do we diversify and bring some revenue into the city that's not raising taxes? And I thought this was a good potential for revenue in terms of doing that. However, I think that this puts us really at, instead of like $104,000, more like a $50,000 revenue bringing in. And I think whatever, it has to be worth the pain for our residents, for people coming into the city, for businesses, and I just do not see that at this time. And I did talk to some businesses, and there were a couple that were not able to be here that asked me to just bring some of their information. So I'll just read a couple of them. I'm definitely opposed to the QR codes. Larger cities like Cleveland and parts of New York City have had issues with scammers stickering over legitimate QR codes. This area has an aging population. We're continually educating our elders to not click on things, to not give out debit, credit card information, but then we're going to go and tell them to use a QR code for parking. I feel this is the wrong population for this type of technology. The majority of shops on North Union do not sell necessities, and with the economy the way it is, sales have not been good as in the past. The last thing small businesses need is a deterrent for customers not to shop on North Union. I'm unfortunately unable to attend the council meeting. I will be in Jamestown. My thoughts. I think QR codes are better than meters. Meters will increase the snow removal burden and take away from the beautification of the walkable Olean. But to be clear, I do not support either. The only return the city will get is irritated visitors and shops. This is not just about money that the parking will bring in. It requires vision as to what visitors it will keep out and what businesses it will harm. I think of hair salons and restaurants where people stay longer than an hour. Let's be honest, the approach seems like it is coming from the wrong side. QR codes and meters are punishing the people for visiting, eating, and shopping in Olean when we really should be looking at creative ways to entice people to stay and spend money in Olean. We need to see the tangible and intangible to weigh the impact. Punishing the consumer and the business owners is the wrong path. And I will say that I'll probably, as I was walking up and down the street, and people were like, what are you doing? Because they've seen me now walk up and down 4 times in the last 2 days. So I was explaining what I was doing. And it wasn't just these couple of business owners that brought up concerns. It was others along the way. And I'm not even saying like people who are older can't use QR codes, because they can. It's a process, we could, but I'm concerned that the cost is not worth the benefit for this one. I don't see raising that 104,000 in the 120 spaces that are out there when, I think there wasn't a time study. It was kind of, we were going on a 60% occupancy. There are businesses, I sent out the list of the businesses when all of them were open. Monday and Tuesday, there are a fair amount of, there's about 1/3 of the businesses are not open during that time at all. Others open up a little later, so we cannot say that between the hours of 9 to 5 that we're gonna capture 60% occupancy, at least from what I see. So I would encourage anyone to go walk down, count the spaces, and just so you know, I didn't count the little half spaces, and if somebody was pulling out, I still counted them as in there, because when I was looking. So took pictures in case anyone's interested, but it was more than a few business owners that expressed concern. And it's not even just the older population. I mean, I was talking to my daughter about utilizing, one of my daughters, I have 5, the QR codes, and my youngest actually said, I won't go downtown then. Simple as that, Mom, I just won't go downtown. I'm like, honestly, I don't have any issues with using QR codes. I think it's simple, but I just don't see that the return on our investment is going to be worth the stress and the strain on our businesses and our residents and out-of-town visitors.
Vernon?
I guess I'm gonna provide a lot to digest here. First, small businesses downtown Olean. I understand how they feel. I understand that they believe that they're going to be affected the same way they believe that they would be affected by the circles. But inevitably, it's always hard to make changes. Second, I agree, the projected revenue amount that we were given, especially now at this date, seems to be a bit off, but to me, I still believe that it's worth it to do some type of parking app. Three, the huge assumption to me, and this is a huge assumption, that you're gonna irritate shoppers. Fact is, you can raise the prices, you can do whatever. If you have a good product, people will buy it, period. And that's foreseen in almost any market there is. People will spend if you have what they want. People are not gonna avoid downtown any more or less than what they are now. If there's nothing there to buy from, then no one's going there. It's simple as that. If there's things there to buy, then people are gonna go there. The pain for the residents, especially when you say local residents, yes, we go there, but when we go shopping locally, most of the time we're walking or we're driving somewhere close by. This is mostly gonna affect those from out of town, I believe. That's just my personal opinion. When I go to other states, other cities, and I'm always traveling, I see QR codes, I see all these parking things out there where they charge. And I know I was just saying earlier, Buffalo went there and it was 20-something bucks for a 3 or 4 hour stay. That was via QR code. I know I've been to other places where it's like this. I know in Arizona, it's all over the place. And then this thing with, we seem to use elderly as an excuse, and I'm sorry if I ruffle some feathers, but the elderly are getting around just fine. They are not having problems with adjusting to today's era. If they don't want to do it, they don't. If they do, then they will. Mayor, I'm not picking on him, but he's a senior. He seems to be texting. He seems to be adjusting to all of the technologies going on. This one right here uses elderly all the time, and he's in the same boat. And he seems to be adjusting just fine, using his cell phone and getting along. So I think using the elderly is just a stretch and just another way of making another excuse to keep this city from prospering. I did do this before, and I would kind of want to just run over it again. Parking regionally in our area, and God forbid if you mention any town or city that's not comparable to Olean, but the village of Wellsville, population of 4,500 roughly, has metered parking in designated areas. They have free weekends. They do have free 15, 30-minute, and 2-hour on designated streets, but you pay for metered parking. Village of Alfred has the same park mobile, has free weekends, holidays. Their population is 4,500. Both of these places are, what, a third of our size. Hornell has parking meters in certain zones with dates and time frames. Sundays and holidays are free. They do have a 2-hour free parking in designated areas. Village of Dunkirk, 12,000. Now we're talking, similar to us. They have a rotational parking even and odd on even and odd days. City of Corning and the city of Batavia, 10,006 and 15,500 population respectively. Both of them have the identical same free 1 to 2 hour parking in designated areas, metered and permit parking throughout the city. City of Jamestown, much larger than us, 27,000. They have an app, All Pro, for parking on both sides of the streets, use metered, paid stations, and they have man booths and permits. They also have free zones in certain areas with parking restrictions between certain times. So I gave you populations that are less than, equal to, and greater than, and they all have some type of system. Why does Olean want to provide free parking is beyond me, but it's missed revenue. We need to look at providing or putting in, installing some type of app or some type of system, and I think we're missing out on revenue by waiting longer and longer and kicking this can down the road. Like I said, locally, yes, if you want to shop downtown locally, then come on down. If it's worth the product, worth paying for it, pay for it, come downtown, pay for parking, and go do your business. Otherwise, if you feel like that is not worth the $2 you're gonna pay in a meter, then go ahead, drive to Jamestown, waste the $10, $15 in gas, pay the meter there, and pay for whatever you're gonna shop for. That's just how I see it.
Go ahead.
Are you going back on that?
No, I wanted to give some additional information that I
Okay.
didn't. I'll wait.
Sign, I'll come back to you, then see John too. No, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Because-
Of that 100, and we've used, I know we used 104, but it's actually, we looked at the budget, it's 100,000. And, but in that 100,000 is 54,000 that would be, that we budgeted to collect parking ticket fines. So if once we get it, and we're interviewing 3 Thursday, this Thursday for parking enforcement officer, once we get that back in line, we're gonna pick up more fine money than that. The other thing is, what we left off, if you remember, when we talked about this at budget time, we didn't include anything on West State Street, because we wanted to keep it, as, what's the word I'm looking for? But anyways, we felt that we would just base it on North Union Street, and we didn't include West State Street at all. And we also did not include East State, which would be part of it too. So there are some places there that have not been included. So, but the fine money for the parking meter or parking ticket fines is in there, and that's 54,000. So, of the 100, it's not in addition to the 100,000, it's of the 100,000.
So you were anticipating making 46,000 from the parking meters,
Yes, and that's,
or the QR codes?
yeah,
Okay.
in that area, 46 to 50.
John, or Bill, are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay,
John?
so, thanks. Sometimes I'm as guilty as anybody else, but like sometimes I feel that we bounce like a ping pong back and forth, because just, numerous times all of us, I've heard out of everybody on council, we've gotten complaints from this one or that one, or we've noticed where, some downtown businesses, their employees are parking and they're taking those spots away from potential customers or shoppers or diners, and we need a parking enforcement officer. Well, there's nobody out there writing tickets, but then we don't want to raise taxes, right? We don't want to push the cost of having someone to do that job onto a QR code to the residents, because that's nickel and diming the shoppers, and it's deterring that. But at the same time, we don't want property taxes to pay for that job either. So I think we send mixed messages in this regard, and sometimes I think if we have an opportunity to try something new, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. There's nothing that's ever set in stone, especially with a part-time position, which, I think we were all kind of on board with, negotiated a full-time position out, and give that part-time position an opportunity and see how that comes to fruition. Every municipal strategy as far as downtown businesses go that I've ever seen says you charge a premium for premium parking, and you still give opportunity for free parking secondary, right? This is walkable Olean, this is walkable downtown. If I don't want to pay the $1 an hour, whatever it is, fee, okay, I can park on a side street. We have city lots that I would still suggest should be free, okay, behind what is Rite Aid, and who knows what will go into Rite Aid next, but I would imagine something will get developed there, right? But we do have large free city lots that's a block off the main drag. So for people to say, well, that's it, I'm not going downtown, well, come on, like, you can park around the corner, okay? Same thing happened with Oak Hill Park. Everybody said, we can't have a dog park in Oak Hill Park. Where's the parking? Where are people gonna park? This obsession with that. Like, people walk their dog there, right? I walk my dog there. Or people park down the street and they walk a block. I think we get too caught up on that personally. Next, I think I said it already, is we're talking ourselves out of something before even trying it. We can always back out of it if it doesn't come to fruition. We can overthink and overanalyze everything. Well, it should be more 40%. But the mayor brought up, I was going to say, I think most of the revenue that was going to be generated was from violations, from tickets, not just from the revenue generated from the actual QR codes themselves. And we haven't even discussed the possibility of what could happen with the additional revenue, the net difference. I know all of us have talked about what is the sustainability or longevity, the outlook of maintaining the beautification of downtown, right? Again, everybody, we don't want volunteers to have to do all the work. We want to put money into flowers, into upkeep, et cetera, et cetera. But again, that we're passing that cost on to the residents and property taxes. So here's an opportunity if we net $50,000 a year, maybe a year or two down the road, we see what that net difference is, and we can hire someone who's a full-time person to maintain the downtown. I don't know. We don't know unless we try, okay? And I also think some of the biggest opportunity that would be missed, okay, would be the Warvet's parking lot. Again, that's a premium that if you go into a big city, you got a hockey league going on there in the winter time and ice skating, and in the summer we're getting a brand new pool and a splash park, and you got the baseball games. Like, that is going to be a huge opportunity, and I'm not, $1 an hour, whatever we end up deciding it to be. I think there is a ton of opportunity that we need to at least try and explore.
So, Simon, go ahead though.
So I was going to say, Vernon, of those you mentioned parking meter, meaning a fair amount of them still have parking meters. They don't have QR codes. I think only the 2 did.
2.
Okay, so 2 out of those that you mentioned. So I want to go back to, I'm glad to hear this breakdown, because that was not how it was presented with the information that was sent. What it was sent on was that 100,000 was based on 60% occupancy, and Greg had all the figures and stuff there. So, I think, one of the things I had not seen is that where we anticipated in terms of tickets or fees for that. And again, I don't believe that people who are older are unable to utilize QR codes. I think that we could have a class if we needed to teach them, for goodness sakes. But I do know, as you mentioned, he texts just fine, so he's good.
No, he's an elite.
He's elite, okay. He could run the class. So I just want to say, and it may well be that, I'm not opposed to taking a look. I think that John's idea in terms of looking at war vets and different things definitely has merit. It may well be that as we have negotiated some contracts for parking with different entities in the lots, that maybe that's something we can do with other businesses, downtown, etc. But if we're thinking that we're getting 60% occupancy in the downtown, we're not. I think that we just need to be mindful. Should we implement something? I think that part of our issue is too that if we had gone from parking meters to a QR code or a similar kind of thing, people would not feel that, in essence, that they've lost something too. So I think that all those things get factored in, and I think that, one of the things that we offer, as does like Ellicottville, that has thriving downtown, and people are there all the time, is that we don't bill for the downtown piece. And you know, maybe we look to see how we can creatively bill for our parking lots and such.
Dave?
Yeah, the only thing I add my 2 cents is, I agree with everything Sonia has said, which I usually don't, but on this issue I do. I don't think QR codes are good for, and I mean, some seniors are great, they got smartphones and they're very technical, probably more technical than I am. The only reason why I have this Apple phone is because my flip phone broke. And when I went to buy another phone, this was cheap. And so, do I know how to use a QR code? No, the mayoral candidate one day when I was walking down the street showed me how to use a QR code, which I had no clue on how to do it. So I believe there's seniors out there that don't have this technology, for one. Number 2, don't know how to do it. We're talking about possibly our sales tax revenues going down again. If people get pissed off and don't shop downtown, there goes our sales tax revenues projections that are going to decrease. If it was parking meters, I'd probably be more in support of it because you can throw a dime, quarter, nickel in there. But I know if I went to the Beef and Barrel, and put it 2 hours down for the QR codes, and I came out and had, I don't know what the tickets are these days, what, $25 for a parking ticket, $50 or 30? If I got a $30 ticket on top of the price of it cost to go out to eat at the Beef and Barrel, I probably would not blame the city, but I would probably be blaming Beef and Barrel. That was an expensive lunch, and I would never come back. So I think
The good thing about it is you're sitting there, your phone can give you, and it would tell you that your time's almost up, and you can add time right from there.
Oh, okay. So you see, you're technical, I wouldn't even know how to do it, but then again, yeah, I guess it's just speaking for the older population, such as myself. I would say that I'm going to be against this.
Good. So, I guess a couple years back, I was one that said I'm willing to have this conversation too. But I guess I envision it slightly different. I agree with a lot of what Sonia said. And John, the one thing I would disagree with is the ping-ponging analogy is, I think it's actually just trying to have an honest conversation where things have been weighed out critically rather than just kind of throwing, crap at the wall and see what sticks, because not many things have ever been walked back once it's been put in if it didn't work. So I'm just saying, I think it's been kind of a good conversation back and forth. It would have been good to have kind of that total area bill when that cost analysis was requested to have that. The concern is if 54,000 or 54% is coming from enforcement side, and as John said, it was negotiated out for the full-time, you, Bill, stated that that position at part-time has basically been unfillable. So what makes it now think that we're going to fill something that we've been unable to fill previous to this, because the last employed parking enforcement officer has been gone for how long?
Yeah, well, prior to that, we had no candidates. We've advertised again, now we have 3 candidates looking at the position.
And I understand that, but I'm just saying when we asked previously why there wasn't one, it was because there's no guarantee just because there's 3 candidates that it's going to stick. So we don't know if that 54,000 in revenue from the enforcement side is even attainable, because there is no enforcement right now. And with some things that Vernon said, you're right, some of them cities are, but Cornell's downtown, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, still advertises, shop our local downtown, it's free to park there. Last I knew, the downtown business district, city center, and that's what they advertised. I could be wrong, and then some of the metered areas.
Free 2-hour parking in designated areas for now.
Okay. So, and that was the question, is like where some of these areas are and how big they are. You talk about premium parking, John, you brought up a great point. That's war vets. It's not some of them blocks up there, you're 100% right. But in that 100,000, some of that was also included of the lots. They were not gonna be free lots. So your point where it would be a free lot, that's probably good. I guess I envision city center, the lots, you know, having someplace to park, so I think I warned in the committee meeting, Bill, that if we expanded this program so large, you're actually gonna push people to park into private people's things and thus cause problems for private property owners. The other thing with the enforcement side of it was that it's immediate, but also they could enforce parking throughout the rest of the city. We've had complaints of people parked all day in handicaps wrong ways, and then they can do that. With the area so large, it's gonna be kind of restricted to that. And then premium parking, Vernon, where they collect is, and you brought up a good point with Alfred. The population of Alfred might be 4,500, but when college is in session, it's probably about 16 to 18,000. And parking is a premium there, because there's just not enough of it. Where I don't know if, you know, our North Union Street seems the same during the daytime hours. And I know me personally, if I'm just gonna run into the bank, I think there needs to be that designated 15 free or whatever. Because I know for me, I'm not gonna lie, if I'm just running to a community bank, throw a deposit in there, I'm gonna look left and right and see if I see the guy wearing the shiny green vest, I'm gonna run that in there. And I think that you're gonna see that because to Dave's point, that quarter took me a second to toss in that meter. That QR code takes you longer to scan and do all that. I'm gonna risk that, and I think a lot of people are. So, I'm not opposed to the in theory of this type of program. I am as it's laid out, and I don't think that the numbers, you know, work, and especially the fear is now you explaining 54% comes from enforcement was something that we have not been able to fill. Is worrisome. Is there anything else on this? So where's this head to from here?
Move to a PO, right? Or we gotta discuss more? I actually, if I can speak,
Yeah.
I actually wrote a note to send an email on my suggested parking locations, but I could just state here that in my thoughts, my personal thoughts, I would say North Union Street, down to Main, South Union to Henley Street. I think that includes the quote-unquote downtown district. West State Street to 4th or to 7th Street. Not sure how far that part goes.
The current was
7th Street.
Currently, yes, Bill.
And then East State Street to the stadium. I think there should be free parking along the side streets, and I think there should be one city lot that's allocated as free, whether it be the smallest or the largest lot, I don't know. But I just believe that, you know, just reading from some of the comments that I have here from some of the other townships and cities, they all pretty much have something free 10, 15, 30-minute, free weekend, free 2-hour designated areas. We can have a designated area. We can still generate our revenue for those that just say, you know what, I'm not gonna walk. I'll just do the QR code, and the QR code doesn't take that long. Once you scan it, it comes right up. You just answer a few, how long you're gonna be, boom, boom. Some of them require you to put in your plate number. You put in your plate number, or you put in the number that's on the ground in front of where you parked, and then you're done. And then, yes, you do get an alert or something like that on your phone that says, hey, you have X amount of minutes left, you know, do you want to renew or blah, blah, blah. You say yes or no, and then you move on. But that was my thoughts.
So, I think, on these refresh me down memory here, on these QR codes, I've never used one before, so what do? Do you have to put your credit card number in there?
Yes.
And how secure is that? I mean, who has access to that credit card? Is it the city that has access to it?
It would be, in this case, it would be Park Mobile.
It'd be the same as any other method that you would use to pay for something over your phone when you're paying with a credit card.
And besides the QR code, there's also, you can call in on a 800 number and pay your parking that way.
Does anybody got anything else on this?
I guess I'm a little confused. During the budget process, we talked about this, most all of them were in favor of it. We budgeted $100,000. This is my fault because I assumed $100,000 was straight out what it was, not until I started, after you asked for more detail, so I started looking into it, that included the $54,000 in fines. I was looking at where is the fine money. And so we had things in motion here. So what's your pleasure now?
Wasn't there, that 100,000 included that, but wasn't there a line item in the budget or in past budgets that included, the parking ticket line as revenues?
It's, the parking violations.
Yes.
That one we budgeted, what, 100,000 in there, that's the one. Because we have we got 3 different lines, the one for the monthly parking pass, and we have the meters, and also we have the violations, which is 1741 line item.
So this whole 100,000, because I don't have a copy here, this whole 100,000 was put under the parking violations line item,
Correct.
but only 54 of it was actually coming from violations.
That's what those numbers, I'm not sure.
That's what you gave me today.
And
I thought it was under 1740 had the 100,000 in it.
No, 1740, no, 1740 is 47.
I should have screenshotted it.
And also, Bill, direct to your statement, I also remember during the budget meeting, I did caution on including this in the budget, being that it was a program that was not installed yet or implemented. I asked if that was something we should be doing. So, I guess, Lance, can you get that clarification?
Yeah, that's a question I did.
This one here?
Yes, the spreadsheet. You have a spreadsheet.
I have the parking violations for the
Yes.
past 10 years, not 10 years, since 2016. This is what you, this is what you gave me today.
Do you have a copy of that?
No, they looked it up. I didn't print it out.
That's what we,
The last 10 years,
so is it,
parking violations.
that's what we budgeted. You have to say, this is parking violations.
Yes.
This is for the whole city, though, right? Parking violations, like parking meters, street sweeper nights, snow plows, stuff like that. Is that what this is?
Yeah, that's the last fiscal year we just closed.
So that's the fiscal year that just closed.
We budgeted 100,000, but we collected 54,000. That's with no enforcement whatsoever.
So the 20,
So if we have enforcement, that number will be higher, in my opinion.
so that 25-26 budget, this line said what?
It's like $100,000, like,
So you just carried the 100,000 over even though we got 54, right, is what you're saying?
but the thought behind it, we would have enforcement this fiscal year.
Okay, so then that $46,000 that you, Bill, is saying that we can get from the parking revenue is where?
It's part of the 100,000. Because all those should go under parking violation, which is the 1741.
The meter fees used to go underneath parking violations?
The meter goes under 1740. There's a different line.
I'm not beating you up, I just, in my mind, it seems in my mind that I would account for the parking fees collected under something similar to that, not under something that says parking violations. And the 100,000 then is an unchanged number, so that 54 was expected previous. So there's really not an increase, that was just from last year, so right?
I mean, I'm thinking there will be an increase if we have somebody to enforce the rules. 'Cause
I would-
right now, we don't have anybody right now.
And I would agree with you, but that 54 was written by somebody other than the parking enforcement officer, since we haven't had one in over a fiscal year. Right?
This 54,000, that's probably the street department, tickets and fines, correct? Like, street sweepers, snow plows.
Yeah, that's my point, there's no parking enforcement officer. Just a minute, Bridget, are you raising your hand?
I am, so I don't know about your budget, how you guys do it, but I'm wondering if when, sometimes in court, a ticket's reduced down to a parking ticket, if that's in that budget line.
That's a different revenue line to cover revenues that come back from the court.
Okay.
So this is just the specific parking tickets, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so question is then, Bill would like direction as to where you would like to send him. Okay,
What's the holdup? I'm confused on the question.
the question is what you would like to see done. I mean, you wanna make a motion then to move to a PL?
I'll make a motion to move to appeal.
As is.
As is.
That's what you're motioning. It's the plan that he has that's.
The plan that he has, so, here, let me go back to this original sheet. The paid parking, from what I just suggested, paid parking in the suggestion from the city is North Union from State to Coleman. I guess, where is Coleman?
Coleman is Talties.
Talties.
Okay, I said Maine, okay, so that works. And then West State from Union to North Seventh, I said Fourth or Seventh. Either kick it back or just leave it at Seventh. East State to Union to East Avenue.
That's the dirt road, right, after the bridge, before the bridge.
Okay, so we can always add on at a later date, to continue down to the stadium, the
No, I
premium
think-
parking.
I think your suggestion has merit to
And
go
then-
to the stadium.
Lawrence from Union to First. I mean, Lawrence Street to me should be untouchable. I think we have to allow
Yeah.
the side streets to be left alone. And then Hamilton from Union to North Berry. Again, that's another one that I believe just leave it alone. Just stick with the downtown district on the main streets. Call it good. So I would make a motion minus those two streets. I'd go for it, sure.
I would also,
They give you
Hang on, okay, hang on one second though, Bill, because you made a motion, so is there a second?
I'd like to amend your motion to include Warbucks Park.
To include Warbeck.
You said no lots, is that right?
This also includes all the lots, yeah.
But I would include no other lots
This one, yeah.
to allow for free parking downtown.
Let me just get the motion on that. So are you gonna amend your motion?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
To include Warbucks Park, to go, what your original proposal was, to go to.
Oh, to my original.
To go to Front Street,
Mm-hmm.
which includes the spots in front of the stadium, as well as Warbucks Park. But none of those other side streets, none of the other city lots, because then it does allow free parking, and we have a giant lot, right frickin', nobody ever uses it.
Yeah, we have several permits in there, permitted spots in there, so.
I mean, Bill, there's like 200 spots in there, like how many is the permitted spots?
I don't have that number here.
I
Vernon,
mean,
do you want,
there's still plenty of
Vernon, do
parking,
you-
isn't there?
what's your, are you gonna pour your motion to clean it up?
Yeah, I would clean it up and amend it.
So let me read what I have. North Union Street from State to Coleman, West State Street from Union to Seventh, East State Street, Union to the stadium, nothing on South Union Street, nothing on the side streets. So city lots and Warbuck law are the things you need to determine still.
I mentioned South Union to Henley,
South Union to Hunley, okay,
East State to the stadium,
yep,
West State to 4th or 7th,
North Union to Coleman, or
and
North
then
Union to Maine.
Coleman.
Okay.
That was my suggestion.
And then,
If I may? Okay, the reason Hamilton and Lawrence is because if we give that free, then employees from the businesses would park there. That's who's utilizing them spots now. They're parked in, especially on Lawrence, there's 3 spots there, and a couple of they're parked all day long there. And so we could put that 2-hour parking.
Yeah, yeah.
you would want to pull that, we'll normalize it.
Lawrence
Okay.
to First 2-hour parking, and North Union to Berry, North Union to, Hamilton, on Hamilton, North Union Street to Berry, 2-hour parking.
Just have them put an appeal, right?
He's gonna pull that.
So to poll, I need to
Yes.
rescind my motion.
Yeah, that's gonna be best because there's gonna be some other questions that arise. So, because as Timmy just said, Bill's plan included all city lots.
Yeah.
Bill's
I-
plan included all city lots, and you and John are saying that all city lots should be free. I said I disagree with that.
The very first one I did.
Time,
I rolled over.
2 hours or something like that.
Okay, so let's say 2 hours, so you're just opening up a bigger can of worms. Number 2 is if you make them free, you're gonna lose the revenue of permits, which is how much is permit parking in your lots?
47,000.
So you're gonna lose $47,000 to make $53,000. So you just had a net gain of $6,000 for all of this. And the QR code parking is an immediate using Park Mobile. Are you gonna then have them QR code in? Because the current 2-hour parking is monitored through the iChalk system, which is another system that we currently pay for.
Well, I guess we need to stop kicking this down the road and answer some questions here. That way we can get this moving forward.
Do I remember Park Mobile and iChalk them together?
No, that's only for,
Is it separate?
They are separate entities. They can talk together, like this thing can talk to
yeah,
Encode, but they are separate entities that we would pay subscriptions for on both of them, so you still have to use them. And the problem with iChalk, as you remember if we talked about it, is it is one of the least efficient systems you can do because the park enforcement officer had to walk by and then come back 2 hours later to see if you still have to be parking there. Where a meter and Park Mobile or QR code is an instant violation.
So I thought we were getting rid of iChalk. That's the first one.
no, that iChalk is what the police department use and what the enforcement officer would use to write the tickets. That's the instruments that use to write the tickets. So you can scan in the registration. Right now, what they do with the iChalk is they go and they'll take a picture of the tire valve,
Okay.
and it records the time. And they've done it, it lets them know when 2 hours up, it goes back, if it's still there, takes another picture of the valve stem, and if it's hasn't moved, then they take a picture of the registration, and prints out the ticket, and puts it on the window.
Okay. And then the other point I wanted to make was, I think I recall, we can rewind the tape, I can go back and watch YouTube, but I thought I said something about making one city lot free.
You did earlier.
You did,
That's what I
John
thought.
said all.
You did,
Yeah.
and then went to
Okay.
Paul, and Bill's plan, I was just saying, stating
Yeah.
that they were
So,
saying.
and that's because when you mentioned all the revenue we lost, I'm like, wait a minute, I know I couldn't possibly say. So yeah, I want making one, whether it be the largest or the smallest, but at any rate, it's one downtown lot that would be free for people to come and go, and then the others can remain either by parking permit or what have you,
I was
whatever
just
method.
compiling the 3 multiple ideas. Yours is that we're coming out with that. Sonia?
So, do we have contracts, that 47,000, is that split amongst the different city lots?
It's split amongst all the city lots. Lot 6 on Berry Street, Lot 9 on the one end of Black and North First Street, Lot There's lot behind the community bank, which we have several spots rented out, and lot 10, whatever, that's the, what was formerly called the OBI lot. That's at First and Sullivan.
So the challenge is we have people, we already have paid parking that culminates into that $47,000 split amongst all those lots.
That would be that's probably the lot at First and Sullivan, probably has the least amount of renters in there.
I think we should just take this offline and draft this up.
It's a short as head, so.
I think there's something we can work out as a suggestion. You know, I think even people can use a QR code. You could, if it was in a city lot, you could give them a free 2 hours in a city lot. Okay, still make them sign in, and then if they're over that, then they get charged. But that would still have reference. You know, you still need a permit, stuff like that. So if you wanted to be there all day, so I think we can take this offline.
So I then just say that everybody then, if you got these ideas, then we should get these sent back in. Tiffany tossed us back on in 1 month. All right. Under new referrals for consideration, motorized vehicles on city sidewalks. This has come up a few times before. And then, Bill, I think you and I both got the same statement from a resident. Basically, the thought process is to remove the ability to have anything non-human powered, I guess, at a minimum on the North Union Street, well, any sidewalks, I'm sorry, I misspoke there. On any sidewalk, e-bikes, scooters, anything that travels at a higher rate of speed with the possibility of hitting a pedestrian. That's the thing, Bill, you did send out the vehicle and traffic law today that stated, I think that just said scooters, correct? Was that?
There was a piece in there that said e-bikes, that was
E-bikes.
highlighted.
It was sent to us before.
I just couldn't remember what it said. It just said one type, so what I sent back in the email was come up with something that's more to include all of them and then make the exception of mobility devices, which I believe is already in the vehicle traffic law, yes? It said that, Vernon?
Yes.
And then Vernon had some stuff from NICOM that was done before, correct? You have that?
Yep. I mentioned this, let me see, December 17, Public Safety Committee. I mentioned that I wanted to bring forth this on e-bikes and scooters. And the NICOM book I'm referencing is Municipal Matters, Volume 4, Number 2. And the article is Electric Bicycles and Scooters Coming to New York. Wade Beltramo is the gentleman that wrote this article. There's a lot of useful information in here. We can always come back to it. But basically, we don't have to come up with anything. A lot of this stuff is already legislation within the state. So we can go that route, and then, as JR mentioned, we can tighten it up a little bit for those things that we wanted to make sure we covered. I did send a video to the mayor, the police chief, and the council of a video that was recorded by a young lady just yesterday on, what is that, North 24th Street, as they visibly had a green light coming out, driving south towards Tops, and just as they got to the intersection, you can see the little bleep of a bike going by with a kid on the bike, just ran the light and ran right by. That could have been catastrophic and would have been a oh my moment about the lights there and the dangers of the corner and all this other stuff, when all it is someone riding a bike that should not have been doing what they were doing in the first place. That's all it was. We need to put something in place on top of what's already in place with New York State, which allows OPD to be able to go after these people and charge them appropriately.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I mean, when I was walking down the street, sure enough, had the same thing happen, almost wiped out. Plus, today, as I was walking, actually had someone on an e-bike who slapped the car, believe it or not, because was annoyed with however the car was. And I think that we need to figure out also how do we manage these on the streets. I mean, I've been going 30 before and been passed by e-bikes, you know, and so again, we go back to enforcement. The one thing I will say is when we're talking about the multi-use paths, you know, we have to say, well, how does that affect them? Quite honestly, I'm happy if they're not on there. I think they're a safety hazard. I think that we once again come down to having a conversation about enforcement. And when we did look at this before, I know I had also sent some stuff out that New York State had already answered the majority of our questions on this. I guess we just need to figure out how do we proceed and what other restrictions we want to put on, because if I remember the reading, that we could either allow or disallow based on by, you know, putting through PLs, but I just assume they not be on any of the city streets.
All right, so, oh, sorry,
Just
John.
real quick, and I'm gonna, you know, I know our police force, you know, we've had a bunch of retirements, and sometimes, you know, things ebb and flow and flare up, and I was just gonna piggyback on this topic. I'm glad you guys brought it up, and ask the mayor if he could talk to to OPD about ramping up the enforcement. I think now we've had 2 near misses. There's a group of young guys, I don't know, teenagers with the motorized bikes, and they're popping wheelies going down the sidewalk on North Union Street. On a couple occasions, they almost took us out, but a couple times I've seen OPD drive right by. I mean, that was something that we do have. We have signs up because I think the judge said that he wouldn't hold the ticket in court without the signs. The signs are up, they clearly state it. I think it would really just help, A, get them off the sidewalk, but B, the sign brings up a larger point. There was 10 of them popping wheelies down North Union they were in the middle of the road yesterday, but again, that's a major concern too.
Just for the sake of this, it's all merit to what you guys said. This was just sticking just to hopefully removing them from the sidewalks first. Bridget, can we, between like the state stuff, tighten that up to make sure that it includes other things, not just it says like e-bike where it's the scooters, it's.
So the state already includes anything electronic, just not e-buttons. So if it's assisted at all electronic wise, then that's already included in the state law. The big thing is you guys have to get enforcement.
Can you, and you are correct, could you send a copy of that state law that you're referring to, because that's slightly different than the one that was sent today? I think that one just said electric scooter. So that was the question I had back in that email.
So there was 2 sections, maybe they just go through. I think one was 1282 and one was 1242.
Okay.
I can send it regardless.
Please, and then we can just proceed from there. So, Simon?
I was just gonna say, you know, when we talk about enforcement, when Michaela was younger, she and one of her friends had little scooters. And by the way, the SRO officer caught them and had a conversation with them. So we've been having this issue, and so we know that enforcement works. We just need to figure out the enforcement side.
I had a conversation today with the police department about getting the enforcement, not only here, but throughout the city and on all shifts.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Bridget, then you'll send that out. Tiffany will just pop that on for 2 weeks, and we may not even need to follow up. It might just be, if we have that, we're good. And then it just comes down to enforcement, and then the in the street side that you're talking about, John, and
I mean, I don't even know if I don't know the legality behind that, but that's a separate conversation. I agree with you, JR. I think the priority needs to get them off the sidewalk first, but
Right.
second, I mean.
The state says they can't ride on the sidewalk. It's already there.
Right. And I get it, like, I mean, I know our guys are busy, they're probably not even maybe looking at the sidewalk, but these things are going like 25 miles an hour on the sidewalk.
It's You know, we got a lot of issues, not only on the sidewalks, we have them going the wrong way on one-way streets, we have them on stop signs. Yeah, and it's a very, you know, the motorist is the one who's gonna, something happens, the motorist is the one who's gonna, you know, in trouble with their insurance. 'Cause I don't even think some of these have insurance on their bike,
No.
so.
I think we asked about that before, there's no requirement,
No.
just like there's no requirement apparently for a helmet or anything else while they're going 35.
Yes, there is.
If there is, then, okay, so then that's another enforcement issue, because I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever seen anyone with an electric bike wearing a helmet while they're speeding around 35, 40 miles an hour, so, other than John might.
No.
Oh.
The guys left,
Bridget,
they all covered it.
I see that 1242, but if you would just send that out as a reminder, and then I did see where it just talks about electric assist, so we don't belabor this. But there are those motorized kits that, there's the ones that are not electric assist that you hear, that make sure that we, and I see Director Sprague shaking his head, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Them ones that you hear, that it's got like a motorized kit that they put on them.
Can we make sure that whatever we do is broad enough, but I don't want, because there are electric scooters that people use for mobility. And so I want to make sure that we don't disallow,
That's in the legislation.
right, but I want to make sure whatever we do, make sure that we don't somehow disallow that.
Yeah, we can.
We could just reference the same thing they do in the law, that's with the Federal Americans with Disability Act of 1990.
So she'll send that, Bridget, and then we can see about adding for the mechanical powered stuff too, please and thank you.
Yep.
So Tiffany, we got that out for 2 weeks, the next meeting, sorry. Oh, okay, thanks. Lost track of the days. All right, no other committees, I'll make a motion for adjournment. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Vernon?
Oh, boy. I'd like to call to order public safety meeting for July 22nd. Let the record show all persons are present with the exception of Forney and Ward 2. Approval of minutes from the previous meeting, Tuesday, July 8th. I'll make a motion. Can I get a second? Second by Bingen. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unfinished business. We have PL 70-25 by Alderman Crawford to authorize the installation of a stop sign on King Street at its intersection with Crown Street.
Okay, because we don't have an alderman there, so I'm just doing, resident asked for this, so I'm bringing it forward. We talked about it previously. I'd like to make a motion to move this forward.
Motion by Alderman Crawford. Can I get a second? Anyone?
Want to move it forward?
To move it forward.
Yep.
All right. Second by Alderman Bingen. All in favor? All in favor?
No,
Opposed?
I'm in favor. I'm in favor.
Aye. Opposed? You're opposed? Yes. Oh, we have two opposed.
What are we voting on? Sorry, I was had to run out.
Public safety.
Mhm.
Other side. PO. Crawford made a motion, Bingen second. We have two in favor or one in favor? Two in favor, two opposed. Look at you.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Wait,
Yeah.
Pick one.
quick. Actually, I did look at this, so I'm for it.
Okay. We have three favored, two opposed. It doesn't matter, you said, John? Never had that happen before.
What was
Okay.
We didn't get four.
You're moving on to,
Oh,
the regular meeting, I guess, coming in the future.
4 out of 7.
3 out of 5.
To pass something out of committee, do you just need,
It's gotta be a majority of the entire committee, not just who's from it.
so,
We have two missing from the committee. No.
you know what I mean?
so there's all of us on the committee.
Yeah, all 7.
Well, 6. What was it?
Tiffany's right on this, we have a 7-person committee, so you have to have 4 people to be.
The Ward 2 vacancy counts as a position.
There you go.
Well,
So that means it failed?
So I don't care about that, Bridge, I'm just asking you, but it's not members' presence.
No.
So PO failed?
yes.
Failed to pass on to the committee, the regular meeting? Okay, moving on. 316 Laurel Ave to 330 North 10th Street. This is back on the agenda. We did receive an email, we did get updated that the county owns this property. I think that answers the question of the liability that we had. Is there any other questions on this particular topic from anyone?
Just a update from Ryan Reed that he is still working on this.
Okay. All right. So we do not need to put this back on for an update, correct?
No, well, yes,
Yes, for a month then?
yes,
Wait a month,
because
okay.
eventually we want them gone.
Okay, so we do want to put this back on for a month. Tiffany, please?
I mean, do you want to give an update? I mean, from what it sounds like, Brian Reed's
I mean-
trying to work with the county land bank.
Well, yeah, because they still have to do the auction, the whole 9 yards, so.
It's gonna take a while.
Process is it goes to the second auction, then it can clear the way.
So how much time would you like to, I'll give that to you, 3, 4 months?
Can we revisit it in 3 months? I was gonna hope,
Okay,
3
3
months.
months. 3 months.
Okay,
3 months, Stephanie? 3 months. I gotta put that in my calendar.
I put it in the.
Revisit. All right, moving on to railroad property mowing. We were looking for an update from the city on this one.
Okay, I have an update for you that the codes has sent out the troubled areas to the railroad. I got a hold of Bob Babcock, and who is now in charge of the radios there. He asked for a list of where the troubled areas was. That was sent out, and they're going to be taken care of. They may have already been taken care of.
All right, so Dave's happy because you brought that one forward.
Yeah, because I got your email with pictures, and those problem areas get mowed, it'd be great. One of them already was done.
All right, so hopefully we are done with that one. Any other questions on that particular one? Oh, good. Moving on to Queen Street Railroad Crossing.
Update on that. We also reached out to Mr. Babcock on this, and he replied to Carrie. One of the issues here is with the lighting is that one of our former DPW directors signed off on the lighting before it even went out to bid. So the lighting's going to be on us, and the DOT will not give them their final reimbursement until they satisfy the DOT with a railing up at top on the where you were talking about up on the top there. So
Tapping down the sides.
yeah, the railing that they want. So Mr. Babcock told Carrie that they are in the process of working on getting that done.
All right, John?
So can we get a quote on what it would cost for us to get some lighting in there?
Yeah, I think that was asked, Mr. Benyon asked for that last time, and I think Jim is working on that with the city electrician, or will be working on that.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I
Jared?
just, question I had is, you just said that he signed off that it wasn't needed before the project started?
Before the project went to bid.
Okay, so that was just removed from the bid package that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
When it was presented to us, it clearly stated that there would be an illuminated tunnel, or tunnel.
And that's what the railroad came back with after researching the item, so
And then you have that bid that shows that that's already gone, or that was removed.
we'll have to look for it, and see, because I was on the one, the last one I saw had the lighting in it, so we'll have to look for that.
Yeah,
I can get that from the engineer.
I'd like to see it, or just check for it, Jim, if you would, I mean, because if you're saying it didn't include it, but through all the conversations here, that was included, because to your point, John, if it wasn't removed and it's on them, then they can put it in.
We'll have to get the bid from the railroad. They really wants it. We didn't bid that. They did that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think we may have said in the documents, so.
But there must be some documentation where, you know, whoever it was said the lighting feature could be removed, because it was discussed.
And I don't recall that ever coming before this body saying, yeah, we don't need lights in there.
No,
It wasn't our project.
Right, it was the railroad.
Railroad's
Yeah.
project, yeah, but our DPW was involved in reviewing everything.
Okay.
All right, so we want to get that information, we want to get more on this a month from now? Is that enough time? Or 2 weeks?
3 weeks we don't need.
3 weeks.
Yeah, put it on the,
2 weeks?
let's put it on the last meeting in August.
2 meetings.
2 meetings away, please.
2 meetings away. What is the consensus here? Got that, Tiffany? 2 meetings. All right. Moving on to new referrals for consideration. Chapter 5, animals. I mentioned this here after the chickens were brought to us that our ordinance needed to be updated. And I worked with Tiffany to get this updated, and there were minor updates, well, minor to me. Completely, if you guys should have received a copy of this entire chapter. The changes were, horses were removed, because apparently we were allowed to have horses in the city of Olean. Why? In this day and age when we can't use QR codes.
I had a
And,
friend who had one.
Well, there may, I don't know.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, do we have any horses that we know of currently?
In the
Because-
city of Olean?
Yeah, because there used to be a barn actually right on the other side of it, by the hospital and stuff.
I
That
think
had
we
it.
do. So, in the city of Olean, I mean, the other changes were the addition of the feeding of community cats as defined in Article 3 of this chapter shall be prohibited within the city of Olean. The other change was the addition of Section 5-5 penalties for offenses. Conviction of a violation of this article shall be deemed an offense and punishable by the fine not exceeding $25 for the first offense, and $100 for the second offense, and $250 for each offense after. And then the other change was in the licensing area, where the previous amounts were not added from this year's budget change, to where the spay and neuter were changed to $30 and vaccination certificate was changed to $40. And I think those were all of the additions. The reason for this is pretty much plain and simple. We have a cat problem in the city of Olean, and some of those issues are attributed to some of our friendly residents that want to feed these cats. I know I have at least 3 in my ward alone. I don't know how many others are out there, but we want to be able to try to tap this down and control this population here. John?
So I respectfully disagree. I believe there are better ways to go about controlling the cat population, something we've dealt with, but have largely ignored despite having funding in place. Just like issues come up with enforcement, there are laws on the books. There's a trap neuter release program on the books. And I guess I would ask for your definition of what is feeding community cats. What does that entail? Someone putting out food in their yard on their own property?
Yeah, there is an ordinance that says you can't put food out for multiple reasons, to include the attraction of rodents and possums and raccoons and things as such. Foxes come in after they come in, and then other animals come in after that.
So why extend that if that is already on the books?
it's not extended, it's just in here because there's nothing in this ordinance that illustrates any type of fine whatsoever. So, this basically just states in detail, if you're, feeding the cats, then you're eligible for a fine. It's gotta be enforced though.
I'll do whatever I want on my property.
You can do whatever you want on your property.
I mean, but no, that's a common trend around that we talk about, right?
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people that have really big hearts in our community, a lot of people that are in my world. And so now, under the threat that they can't, feed a neighborhood cat, I don't personally agree with that. It's their private property. Now, with that being said, hoarding, obviously, we have rules about having X amount of cats in the property. What is it, more than 5 animals, that's on the books, that's against the law. If there is a group of cats that needs to be tracked, we coordinating it with the mayor, setting up with the SPCA. I think we still are working with them. Have we at all this summer, Bill?
Not really, no.
We got money in the budget for that, and that is, I really struggle with the idea of how do you enforce that, A, but B, somebody on their private property. Now we're gonna go and start ticketing sweet elderly women for feeding a neighborhood cat. I mean, I know Dave would be opposed to that.
I'm gonna just piggyback on that one real quick.
Sure.
Here we go, trying to use the elderly lady as the, it's also,
We're looking at
I'm, because I didn't see the hair in there, so. I'm trying to choose my words here.
You can't use it to.
No, Vernon, don't let.
Don't.
Don't choose your words.
I don't,
Say what you guys say.
yeah, Lord knows.
Spit it out, get it out. Write it down, I'll say.
I think we should sit back and say to ourselves, okay, I understand that there are people out there that have good hearts and want to help these animals, but there is an ecosystem, that period. And things come, go, they live, they die. If we have stray cats that are just overpopulating the city and doing their thing, I could just use one example. It seems that we always end up on our cameras, a cat or two that will tend to come by and decide to use the bathroom on our yard furniture, stuff like that. I had a resident come to me about their neighbor feeding the cat, and that this cat was coming and using the bathroom on their porch furniture. And then when I go and talk to the old lady, when I go and talk to
The aged?
the resident of the home, she states that her cat won't listen to her and wants to go outside. We have licenses that these people are required to pay or required to register their pets, and I'll bet you half of these cats aren't registered, okay?
You don't have to register cats.
Okay, we'll register the dogs, but with the cats, so we can just have limitless cats, and they're all not staying in their house. Why? Stay in the house. Keep your pets inside. My heart doesn't go that far, as far as that, especially when your cat decides to come over to my yard and start using the
I agree
bathroom.
with you on that.
So with that, if you're worried about enforcement, I mean, just look at the history, much get enforced anyway. So I don't think that's gonna get, but at least it'll be on the books, so when we do wanna enforce it, that's the way I see it.
So the resident that feeds the birds next door, and the birds do droppings on the resident next door. This happened in my ward, right?
That's a hypothetical, isn't it?
No.
Is
it
bird
happened
on
to
here?
me. It happened to me.
The bird's not on here.
But I'm saying, so now we could also say we shouldn't feed birds or squirrels or any other animals, because if one resident gets upset.
We'll get to that legislation when the time comes, but we're just discussing cats.
I'm looking at this because we're paying on it.
Yep.
So one of the challenges, I think, because I say this to people repeatedly, is that for some reason, no one seems to believe that their cat should be kept inside. I've never let my cats, that isn't true. One time I had a cat who would get out occasionally, but I don't let my cats run. One, they get diseases. Two, I don't know where they are, no. I don't like fleas, the whole 9 yards. I think people, one, we have to make sure, when I tell people, like, they'll say something about it, I said, well, your cats aren't supposed to be outside anyways. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, the city says, unless you're gonna put them on a leash, that they're not to be outside. So I think that one is, there is a lack of education that cats can't just roam freely. That doesn't have anything to do with the feral population, but how do cats become feral to some degree is they go out and they populate the earth with more cats because you didn't get yours spayed and neutered. I always get mine spayed and neutered. They stay in my house. Life is good. So I think part of it, I don't know if we send it out with the water bill, but says keep your cats in your house.
I mean, I would support legislation that says that, right? So that is an infringement if the neighbor cat goes on Vernon's property, okay, and does business there. That's letting your pet run it wild.
Yes,
right?
and there's a large
I can't do
orange
that with a
cat,
dog.
right, that he comes to my house. I didn't invite him. He belongs to somebody. And I just as soon he not come to my house and not pee under my porch and stuff.
I would put up some signs.
In cat language, no less.
In my neighborhood, we got more skunk problems and woodchuck problems than we do anything else.
So the whole thing is, I think that it's an education issue in part, right? So how do we educate the public to say, keep your cat in your house or risk, you know, you could be fined.
All right,
Thanks.
anyone else on this one? All right, so, well, I guess I need to make a motion to send it to, I'll make a motion, can I get a second? Be the telling here. Here we go with the silence.
I'll second.
Seconded by Alderman McCall. All in favor? Opposed?
This is just for PL, right?
Second?
This is just to put it in for
Just, yes.
You okay?
Okay. You okay?
Yes.
Yes, not opposed.
Yeah, go ahead. Put it
Okay.
for PL.
Okay. McCall, second.
If we get any constituent complaints, we can vote on it later.
Yep, there you go.
But are we not in the same place? Because we have 3-2? Like, are we truly not getting anything done today because we don't have enough people?
And I just died too.
I didn't hear anyone opposed.
Who you pointed at?
Somebody wasn't vocal.
Did you call up opposed?
Yes.
You were talking to Dave about whether he
No,
was
I
yes
said
or no.
opposed.
Actually, well, he actually did.
Okay, I'm opposed.
Okay. All right.
One opposed?
We got 4.
So, okay. Just
I
checking.
didn't say yes.
Well,
I didn't vote.
so you're abstaining just because?
I was not listening, in fairness and truthful, I was not listening, because I've been sitting here looking for that piece of that code that says that it has to be 4, so Bridget, if you'll send that over, that'd be great. Because the only thing I found, it just says majority, so I'm not doubting you, Tiffany, I'm just asking to send it over.
It's not code, it's.
I was looking at
Robert's
the
rules.
E code. I just would like to see where it says it needs 4.
And maybe I might be wrong, but that's how town law is. So I guess I just assume city law should be the same. Unless your code says otherwise.
Tiffany, are you looking that up? Because I'm curious if we're moving
What's
forward
this
this
code?
or,
I'm looking it up right now.
okay. We'll pause. That way we know if we're moving forward this or if it dies right here, then I can adjourn and then we can go into our committee of whole.
So the only thing I found was that for business to take place in committee is not a majority of being present.
So on principle, you were abstaining so that we could get an answer. I can appreciate that.
Like, if no, be like if, there's 100 senators, and 2 didn't show up, you have to decrease the amount that you need to pass something. Right, you still need 51.
Your quorum protects you against that. So I have to have a quorum.
We can just get a majority of the committee
I
members.
believe.
It's always been like 30 years.
It does,
That's what I think too,
but restrictive that something doesn't get out of committee without a supermajority.
That's how.
Pass a lot of stuff through council by a majority of members present if there was only 5 sitting in the room.
I know.
Simple majority, I just don't think that moving something forward from a committee is that restrictive.
So that means we would have to go back to,
You don't have to go back, and that just,
John's motion.
no, they don't have to go back, it was voted on, it just passed.
Yeah, remember,
What I'm
it just
asking is
passed.
correct, you don't have to go back, it just passes. Such a jerk, let's do things right.
Bernie,
yes.
before I forget, I'm getting old. I'd like to see you after the meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
look at that.
Principal's office?
Before I forget.
Bless you.
We'll be discussing your ageist remarks then.
What was that even for? What was that for, that you're asking about?
I'm asking to
No, I know, what vote was it on?
discuss.
Any and all.
Any at all, I'm asking any at all, because when you said didn't go forward, I'm just asking at all. And I'm basing my question on the fact that if a quorum is, it's a quorum of
I think it is,
majority.
I think it is enough to get something out of it. I think it is, just a majority based on the members present to move something out of a committee base. So it's-
Bridget's raising her hand.
Yes, law from New York State says that for the city, but your charter says something different. I don't know how to charter.
I'm not.
I didn't find anything in that quick look. What does the open meeting law for the state say, Bridget?
It says that, so you're correct, JR, that it would pass for the committee. But I don't know what your charter says, I don't have that.
Is it in?
I don't recall reading that, so I'm thinking it is majority.
That's where I searched it, John.
I know I read that chart, I don't know how many times. So.
It said that you just need a simple majority of the members to hold a quorum.
Okay,
Unless something is in that deep.
I don't remember us discussing that, we went over the charter line by line.
There are things that discuss a different number, i.e. a vote to reconsider the mayor's, veto,
stuff
of
like
that.
Yeah.
There's some finance ones that a dollar amount requires certain things, but to move something from committee or just a basic motion not explicitly written in that charter, which that would have to be explicitly written, reverts to that, which is a simple majority of the members present as long as you have a quorum at the meeting.
all right, so we're gonna go with the majority vote and say that this passed 3-1 to move on to the regular meeting. And then we're also gonna say the PL 70-25 brought forward by Crawford to authorize the installation of the stop sign at King Street at the intersection with Crown Street also passed with a majority vote of 3-2. So with that, if something has changed or if there is legislation in, or not legislation, but if there is verbiage in the charter that states otherwise, then we can revisit when that time comes, or we can just get an email that says, hey, that one did not pass to the regular meeting. So with that, approval of the committee meetings, committee reports for the public safety, we have none. I will make a motion to adjourn. Maybe a second by Anastasia. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned from public safety.
Call committee of the whole to order for Tuesday, July 22nd. Let the record show that all aldermen are present, with the exception of Alderwoman Forney and Ward 2, which is vacant. First, we've got PL 84-25 by Mayor Elliott to authorize the transfer of $19,495.53 from the general fund contingency to line item 4068.462 for the costs associated with mosquito spraying. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, as you all know, that you authorized me to sign on to the county for mosquito spraying, and the bill has now come in for that spraying, $19,495.53.
Okay. Comments and questions? Okay. Seeing none, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion made, seconded by Alderman Benyon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. PL 85-25 by Mayor Alio to award the Marcus Park Collaboration Project electrical portion of Kelker Electrical Contracting LLC in the amount of not to exceed $219,645. We talked about this one just in committees. Anything else to add?
Just that Calcor was a low bidder, and it's nice to see a local company that gets the bid.
Okay. And I'll entertain a sponsor.
Sponsor.
Motion's made by Alderman Robinson, seconded by Alderwoman McCall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. It's referred to tonight's regular meeting. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman McCall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Common Council for Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. The clerk, please call the attendance roll.
Alderman Benyon. Here. Alderwoman Forney. Absent. Alderwoman McCall.
Here.
Alderman Robinson.
Here.
Alderman Anastasia.
Here.
And Alderman President Crawford.
Here, please rise for the invocation of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business, guide our hearts and minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading, correcting, and approval of minutes of the previous regular meeting.
Regular meeting of the Olean Common Council was held on Tuesday, July 8, 2025 at 7:55 p.m. Present were Alderman Crawford, Benyon, McCall, Robinson, and Anastasia. Absent was Alderwoman Forney, and Ward 2 is vacant.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous regular meeting. Can I get a second? Second by Alderman Benyon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Committee reports and unfinished council business.
None.
Communications from the mayor.
Thank you. We were going to have tonight with us the special, New York State Special Olympics bowlers that went off to competition, but they've asked that we change the date till later in September, let's see, in August, I'm sorry, so they'll be here in August to get those awards. And the second item I have is his resignation from Sergeant James Constock from the Olean Police Department. He will be retiring as of August 22nd. He'll be moving on to be the criminal justice instructor at Cattaraugus Allegheny Bosse Center in Ellicottville. So we wish Sergeant Comstock good luck in his next endeavor.
Miscellaneous communications.
None.
City official reports.
Monthly report of the city auditor, month ended June 2025. Financial summary as of June 30th, 2025.
Proposed legislation or reports.
PL number 79-25 by Chairman Crawford. Referred to regular meeting Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 for resolution by Council President. PL number 80-25 by Mayor Alio. Referred to regular meeting Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 for resolution by Council President. PL number 81-25 by President Crawford. Referred to regular meeting Tuesday, July 22nd for resolution by Council President. PL number 82-25 by Mayor Alio. Referred to regular meeting Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 for resolution by Council President. PL number 83-25 by Alderman Robinson. Referred to regular meeting Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 for resolution by Council President. PL number 85-25 by Mayor Alio. Referred to committee of the whole Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 by Council President. PL number 85-25 by Mayor Alio. Referred to committee of the whole Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 by Council President.
All right, finance and bills. We've received our copies of finance and bills. We've reviewed them. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll make a motion. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman McCall. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
Alderman Anastasia,
Yes.
and President Crawford.
Yes.
Passes 5 ayes.
Resolutions?
Resolution number 77-25, PL number 79-25, to amend the City of Olean Code of Ordinances, Chapter 13, to include Division 8, food trucks.
Okay, we talked about this in committee, where we'll make some suggestions to clean this up, primarily the big ones being to expand upon and as well as offer a discount for longer periods of time. So the key takeaway here is rather than just the $20 per day fee, the city will offer a continuous 30-day period permit for $250, a 6-month permit fee for $12.50, and a 12-month, should someone want to go that route, is as $2,000. Additionally, there was some restrictions that city clerk proposed and the council as far as restricting parking on North Union Street, as well as timeframes that the food truck should not operate after without consent of the city. Comments or questions? All right, I'll make a motion. Can I get a second? Second by Alderman Benyon. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
Alderman Anastasia.
Yes.
And President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes 5 ayes. Resolution number 78-25, PL number 80-25, to authorize the creation of capital funds.
Okay, we talked about this one in committee too. Comments or questions? Seeing none, can I get a motion? Alderwoman McCall, can I get a second? I'll second. Will clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
Alderman Anastasia,
Yes.
and President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes with 5 ayes. Resolution number 79-25, PL number 81-25, to amend the City of Olean sidewalk rebate program.
Okay, talked about this one in committees, and the takeaway here is removing the restriction to just owner-occupied properties. In addition, we expanded the cap to $1,500 since the $1,000 cap per property was set 6 years ago, 7 years ago? 2019. And so obviously costs have gone up, as we propose to increase the reimbursement price per square foot from 6 to 8 per square foot. Okay, so those are the 3 major changes with this legislation. Comments or questions?
So,
Alderwoman McCall.
and Len's had sent us, that there's actually more money in than we anticipated. Was it 32,000? Yeah, so there's actually $32,000 in this very worthwhile program that helps out. So hopefully some individuals that were not previously able to, landlords, et cetera, will take advantage of this.
Agreed. Comments or questions? All right, I'll make the motion. Can I get a second? Second by Alderwoman McCall. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
Alderman Anastasia,
Yes.
and President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes with 5 ayes. Resolution number 80-25, PL number 82-25, resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from general fund contingency to line item 7110.557 for costs associated with the portable toilets for city parks.
Okay, talked about this. Comments or questions? Can I get a sponsor? Alderwoman McCall, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Robinson. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
Alderman Anastasia,
No.
and President Crawford.
Time.
Thought this was Jeopardy, did you?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Resolution passes 4 ayes, 1 nay. Resolution number 81-25, PL number 83-25, to authorize the removal of deaf child signs.
All right. Any further discussion on this one? Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion is made by Alderman Robinson. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Anastasia. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon?
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall?
Yes.
Alderman Robinson?
Yes.
Alderman Anastasia?
Yes.
And President Crawford?
Yes.
Resolution passes 5 ayes. Resolution number 83-25, PL number 85-25, out of committee by Alderman Robinson, seconded by Alderwoman McCall, to award the Marcus Park Collaboration Project electrical contract to Kelper Electrical Contracting, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $219,645.
Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon?
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall?
Yes.
Alderman Robinson?
Yes.
Alderman Anastasia?
Yes.
And President Crawford?
Yes.
Resolution passes 5 ayes.
You missed, resolution 82.
Yeah, you missed it. No, we
Insect
did the,
control.
we did the part. We did the part.
It's not on mine.
We did this. No, we didn't.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Oh, did I just marked the wrong one.
Resolution 83-25, PL number 85-25. Sorry, excuse me. Resolution 82-25, PL number 84-25. Resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from general fund contingency to line item 4068.462.
Okay, talked about moving the money for the mosquitoes. Comments or questions? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon?
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall?
Yes.
Alderman Robinson?
Yes.
Alderman Anastasia?
Yes.
And President Crawford?
Yes.
And that resolution passes with 5 ayes.
Okay,
Sorry for the mix-up.
so before we move on to public comment, I'd like to give an opportunity to any of the aldermen at this time. Alderman Robinson?
Yes, real quick. When I was on vacation last week or week before, and I was attending the meeting via Zoom, I just want to say that we need to at some point invest in getting different mics for in here. When you're on Zoom, you can hear every creak of the chair. I can hear more of the chair and movement and shuffling of paper than I can hear people talking. And that's an issue, especially I have tinnitus, so I qualify for the deaf and hearing impaired or whatever. So I want some better services in here. I think we should do that at least for those that listen for the 100 or 200 that we have that apply, or I'm sorry, that participate and actively listen to the video, because you really can't hear anything. They could probably hear that more than they can hear me talking. So that's all.
Just a follow-up. Does our thing do closed captioning?
It does, but not well, because
It needs
they
to-
can't pick up his hearing,
Yeah.
because people don't speak into the microphone.
Thank you.
Well,
After numerous times of being, yeah, it's horrible.
You know, speaking of microphones, it's not going to pick it up. If your microphone's here, you're talking over here.
Right.
Yeah. And if your voice doesn't carry, where you don't need a mic,
Right. Okay.
just real quick, I just want to tell everybody that August 1st, we have another one of the, from 3 to 7, music and art walk downtown. The businesses have gotten together, done a great job. So I would encourage everybody to come out, live music, art, and there's at least, I think, 8 or 10 businesses that are gonna have live music for at least portions of that time, so come on out, the last one was lots of fun.
Anything else? All right, just as a short update on the storm sewer and I situation. So 2 weeks ago, I gave you an update on a variety of different basins that are currently being worked on, disconnected. So the city is continuing to disconnect those storm sewer basins from the sanitary that I provided you with 2 weeks ago. We received an update from the Son of the Nation asking us to reschedule our August 22nd task force meeting with them. And what we're going to do is wait on hearing back from the DEC. The DEC is currently in the selection process to finalize a engineering firm to work on the ongoing I&I. So the state DEC is responsible for going out and selecting. They've obviously set aside the monies to find the firm that will help put together the game plan for that. And so once we get that date, the mayor will reconnect with the Seneca Nation and set up a date, hopefully early September. I think that's it. Is that it? All right. Alderwoman McCall?
So can we also include going forward what we have done with codes to disconnect the downspouts that are tied into the storm? Right, I mean, because that's where we've identified the issues, so can we get a kind of a ongoing update on those?
Maybe look at the good thing.
Yeah, I gave you one, John gave me last time, but in the meantime, yes, as they inspect, I can let you know if there's more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything further? All right. Mr. Clerk, please read the public comment statement.
Public comment portion of the common council regular meeting is established to provide members of the community with the opportunity to publicly state their views, voice their concerns, or to provide input pertaining to any issue affecting city government. Additionally, the mayor, common council members, and city department heads encourage any person with questions to contact them at their offices.
Okay, at this time, I'll invite any members of the public to approach the podium. Please state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Price. I live at 126 Arland Avenue. And 5 years ago, we had a new sidewalk put in front. I mean, we paid our portion and went from there through the city. When they got all done, and I don't know who the lady was, long blonde hair, came and inspected it to make sure it was all okay. And she realized that at the end of Arland and Fairview, they did not put a handicap accessible sidewalk in at that time. So she said, they'll be back to fix it. Well, that was 5 years ago. I have called every year between then and now, told, well, it'll be taken care of. Well, that's why I'm here tonight. Within this last month, I've called the mayor's office. They've sent me to DPW. I've talked to DPW 4 different times. They've said, finally, you have to talk to David Crandall. He's the ADA compliant engineer that would take care of it. And I have left him 3 voicemails with no return call. So Thursday, I called DPW to find out, and they told me that it was David I had to talk to, and they said, oh, he's in the office, let me check. She comes back and says, no, he's not in the office, leave him a message. So she sent me to his voicemail again. That was Thursday. Friday, nothing. Monday, nothing. That's why I'm here. My husband walks with a walker. He cannot access that sidewalk in front of our house. We had another gentleman in a wheelchair, can't access that sidewalk. How do I go and tear it out and do it myself? And I've been known to do that, so I know it's, my sidewalk, but I did it once before with 28 bags of cement to make it accessible for him. And I will do that if I have to. So that's why I'm here. Mhm.
Okay, anyone else?
Sorry, I gotta go home, the boy wants to go to sleep. I live on Laurel Avenue, and the house next to me has been discussed and discussed and discussed and discussed, and I'm disgusted. That house, on September 7th, I notified the city that it had been twisted. The whole frame is twisted from tornadic winds. In the meantime, the inside of it has totally collapsed. The floors have collapsed. The front of it's collapsing in. My concern is, I live right next door. The distance between that house and mine is 12 feet. The upper part, the roof section, third floor, you can call it what you want. I've been inside of it. I know it's a third floor. I feel it's going to come down in one piece. Now, I know you guys don't want to approve the money. You say we don't have it. I'm going to tell you right now, the cost of lumber, plywood used to be 20 bucks a sheet. Now it's 60. It had 1 minute and 4 seconds. Anyway, if that falls on my house, the city has been aware of it since September 7th, 2024. I will force the city to make it right. And if you think $47,000 is a lot of money, wait until it becomes $147,000. I will not let up if that falls on my house. I also have 2 of my relatives that live with me, and you guys can provide for us a new place too, if we lose a place to live in, because that house falls on us. Action needs to be taken yesterday. I know I have seen several contractors out there giving you guys bids. I know you guys don't want to part with $47,000. I don't either. But if it falls on my house, it could be 3 times that much. Oh, I didn't say my name, did I? Paul Jones, 320 Laurel Avenue.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Brittany Benz. I rushed over here from work, so please pardon my appearance, but this was not something I could miss. Because those who reside in Olean and the surrounding areas have urgent needs. Our roads are cracked, our sidewalks are unsafe, our public transportation non-existent. But perhaps most alarming, our water systems are aging and underfunded. And too many families are left wondering if the water in their homes is clean, safe, and reliable. And the city council sits here debating electric bikes and discussing how to stop cats from peeing on your patio furniture. And who to charge yet more fines on. There are real issues to be discussed, but you all seem so disorganized and don't even know how to cast a vote. This is my first time in any type of city hall meeting, and I came here expecting so much more than what we got. I find that to be alarming, and how is it acceptable that in 2025 residents are still reporting discolored water, foul smells, and rising utility costs without answers or accountability? You cannot claim to care about public health or the people and then ignore what's happening in towns like Olean, Portville, and Salamanca, where concerns about water quality have gone unanswered for too long. Safe, clean water is not a luxury, it is a human right. If you're asking to stay in your seats, the ones we put you in, then I urge you to honor your commitments you made to us in writing and in action. We need state-level funding to upgrade our water infrastructure. We need transparency in testing, timely reporting, and full accountability. And we need to ensure that rural communities are not left behind while big city projects get fast-tracked. Don't just promise to listen. Show up, walk our neighborhoods, taste the water, talk to the parents who filter every cup their child drinks, and the elders who remember when this town had resources, not just rhetoric. We may be a small dot on the state map, but we are not invisible. We vote, we organize, and we are here paying attention. So if you want to lead in New York's government and Olean's government seats, start by fighting for all of it, or we will leave you behind. Thank you.
All right, Jessica Davis, North Olean. I'm not going to give you my address. I don't like that. I came to actually talk about the water, but Sonia brought up what I was going to ask about, which was the street, the storm sewers, and where we were at on that. But I listened to you guys for an hour discuss parking, electric bikes, and how to enforce fines. on cats. And I understand these are all problems that affect the city, but the city of Olean has real big problems. We have a drug problem. We have a homeless problem. We have a hospital that's aging out. We have a state representative who represents the 23rd District voting yes on a bill that could close our hospitals. And we're debating cats peeing on porches. Maybe the city needs more code enforcement. I hope the 3 that are applying, I think you guys should hire all 3. It sounds like we need a parking one, we need an animal one, and we need one that respects what you guys say when you put law into code enforcement. I know that one of the meetings that we were at, there was a gentleman who was discussing how over on the I think it's West Fall Road, there's a big lot. And I go past it, I live over on off of Homer. It is a mess for him. And he came in here and he asked you guys about it. The wood got removed. I just went past it, but the grass is that high. Where's the city on that? Where's the code enforcement on that? You guys could make money if you would get code enforcement officers who can then collect on the fines and the codes that are not being enforced. You could bring in money that way. That would help with the water, that would help with the homeless problem, that would help with so much. So I'm just saying, like maybe we focus, that's an area we could focus on instead of squabbling about the feral cat population. As a person who loves cats, as a mother of a daughter who volunteers at the SPCA, fleecing cats is not the way somebody's gonna feed a poor cat that they see struggling in a winter. They're just going to, and yes, it is the great circle of life that things come, they go, they die. But nobody's gonna look at a cat starving in the middle of winter and not do something for that cat. But that's not the point. The point is enforce it. If a person wants to feed a cat, they have to take care of that cat and enforce it. The street sewers, if they're not enforcing it, we owned a house over on 24th Street. You guys said no, that couldn't drain into the storm sewer. You know what we did? We called a plumber. We had our plumber outsource our sump pump right to a drainage that's just in our house, or in our outside of our yard. Took 20 minutes. That can be done, and you can enforce that with people. You can start making people pay the fines, and then you can bring some more revenue in the city to actually do the job of the people.
And if we leave, where was that high grass, did you say, Buffalo, East Fall Road?
It's right there on the west, the west. It's a big lot. It had a bunch of tree lumber, and the gentleman was over here. He came in, he asked about it, and then I just went past it today, and it is, and there's rodents in that, snakes and rats. Thank you.
Good evening. Deborah Jimerson, Seneca Nation of Indians, Allegheny Territory. It is already the end of July. I'm speaking about the sewage problem in our Ohio. In March, I spoke about the urgency to get this fixed. Being the end of July, it does not appear, and please give me information if I am wrong, that the sewage problem will not be fixed. So again, we're approaching another winter. Another winter of that will wait till the spring. Hopefully something will be done then. Although I appreciate your updates, if you could give us some time frame, let us know if there's no hope that this is going to be resolved this year. That would be helpful. I again speak of the urgency. I hear about the water issues that the residents of Olean has. We again will not be able to fish, canoe, swim, or watch our wildlife thrive because of this issue. Again, it's a sense of urgency. Now,
Oh, he's kind of, they got, with no dots, they got some. Ohio, Jonegano, to Noge. I am thankful for the peace within you all. He who thunders, I am called. Cold Spring, along the Ohio that I live. I've been absent for a little while, but I've returned. I've returned in disappointment, frustration. I just wish you guys had as much urgency and rhetoric in regards to the Ohio as you do parking. We sat here for over an hour talking about parking. I'm not aware of the situation, so I'm going to be reaching out and trying to get some information for my nation to find out their perspective, to see where they're at. And again, I thank you guys for the update. You guys are trying to find some engineers and stuff like that and trying to move forward and gather some money in regards to this. But again, urgency. 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 Do I have to define that for you? You understand that? Time's ticking. It's about time you guys get moving. I've been waiting over a year. Coming here trying to persuade you guys. Gotta light a fire under your ass? What we gotta do? Let's get moving, boys. Got a big job to do. Got other issues that are here in your city. Got a lot of stuff going on, but man, you guys are talking about some petty stuff, I think. Small stuff. So, I think for other people that are present, and I'm just here to make my appearance known. So you guys know that I've returned, and I'm going to keep coming back.